The sky above Leora 7 was a calm shade of purple, with silver clouds drifting slowly. Captain Daniel Reeves stood at the edge of the landing pad, hands behind his back, watching the alien ship descend. He had seen many ships in his life, but this one was different, sleek, golden, and silent. It was a royal ship. The Queen of Zelthera was coming. Daniel was no longer a soldier. He was a peace advisor now, helping humans and aliens live together after years of war. He had fought in battles, traveled across galaxies, and survived dangerous missions. But today felt strange. He didn't know why the Queen had personally requested him. The message was short and clear. Come alone. It is urgent. My daughter needs you, human. As the ship landed, a soft wind blew his brown coat back. The door opened, and a group of tall alien guards stepped out, their armor shining in the light. Then she appeared, Queen Virelia of Zelthera. She wore a long silver robe, her dark blue skin glowing slightly under the planet's sun. Her eyes were sharp, but her face showed sadness. Daniel bowed slightly. Your Majesty. The Queen nodded. Captain Reeve, thank you for coming. They entered the royal ship. Inside, everything was smooth and quiet. Lights floated above them like stars. Daniel followed her through a narrow hall into a small chamber. It was private and silent. No guards. No noise. Just the Queen and him. She turned and looked straight into his eyes. I will speak plainly, she said. My daughter is dying. We cannot save her. But you might. Daniel blinked. Me, yes, you are human. That is the key. I sat down slowly. Your message was confusing. I don't understand. I've never even met your daughter. The Queen's voice grew softer. Her name is Niera. She is my only child. She was born weak. Our healers have tried everything.
Ow.
Our science has failed. But old records speak of something ... ancient. A bond between our kind and humans. A bond that once healed, once protected. Daniel frowned. You think my blood can heal her? Not just your blood, Virelia said. Your presence, your DNA, your mind. There's something deep inside you that may awaken what sleeps in her. This sounds like magic, Daniel said. The Queen shook her head. It is not magic. It is forgotten science. We once had human allies long ago, long before your history remembers, but war erased many things. Daniel took a deep breath. He had seen strange things in the universe, but this felt personal. Dangerous? Why me, he asked. Virelia hesitated. Then she handed him a small cube. It floated in his hand and began to glow. A soft image appeared, a young girl with glowing blue eyes, lying in a crystal bed. Tubes ran through her arms. Her skin was pale. She looked no older than 20. Because when she dreams, she says your name, the Queen whispered. Daniel's eyes widened. What? She says Daniel Reeve in her sleep. Over and over. Even though she has never met you. Silence filled the room. You expect me to believe that? I expect you to help, Virelia said, her voice firm now. You can say no, but if there is a chance, even a small one, to save her. Will you come? Daniel stared at the image of Niera. He felt a strange pull in his chest. Not fear, not duty, something else, something unknown. He nodded slowly. I'll go. The royal ship took off from Leora 7 and flew through warp space. Hours passed like seconds. Daniel sat alone in his quarters thinking. Why did the princess dream? Of him? How could she even know his name? Was this a trap? Test? He didn't have answers when they arrived. The planet of Zelthera filled the window's green forests. Floating mountains and shining towers that reached into the clouds. The palace was built on a massive cliff, surrounded by waterfalls and glowing plants. Daniel was led by silent guards through golden halls. The air was cool and fresh. Music played softly from invisible sources. Every wall was carved with images of warriors and stars. Finally, the doors opened to a quiet room. Inside was the Princess. Niera lay on a raised platform, surrounded by soft lights and humming machines. Her eyes were closed, her skin almost white. She looked fragile, like glass. Daniel stepped closer. He didn't feel fear, felt connection. A soft voice behind him said, "She has been asleep for many months. Her energy is fading." It was the Queen again. Daniel looked back at Nyera. "What do I do?" "Touch her hand," Varelia said gently. "Let the machine scan both of you together. It will begin the process." Daniel reached out and slowly took Nyera's hand. Nothing happened for a second, then everything changed. The room filled with light. A deep hum began. The machines beeped faster. Nyera's eyes opened wide, glowing bright blue. Her mouth opened, and she whispered something. "Daniel. ... He felt a shock run through his arm. His heart raced. Nora's body floated slightly, energy surrounding her, and then a burst of blue light exploded from their joined hands. Daniel blacked out. He woke up in another room, lying on a soft bed. His body was warm, but his head throbbed. The Queen stood nearby, her face a mix of shock and wonder. "You both passed out," she said. "But the energy, we have never seen anything like it." Daniel sat up. "What happened? You connected?" She said, "Her life signs are stronger. The ancient energy responded to your touch." Daniel took a deep breath. "What now?" The Queen looked serious. "Now we go deeper. This was only the beginning. You are more than human, Daniel Reeve. You are part of something, older." And for the first time in years, Daniel felt afraid not of war, not of death, but of destiny. Daniel woke up in a small, warm room. The walls were smooth like glass, and soft golden light came from the ceiling. He sat up slowly. His body felt heavy, but not in pain. His mind was full of questions. The door opened with a soft hiss. A short, alien woman in a white robe stepped in. She looked at him kindly. "You're awake," she said. "Good, the Queen is waiting." Daniel nodded and followed her down a long hallway. The floor glowed under his boots. Strange symbols floated in the air, showing directions. The deeper they went, the quieter it became. Finally, he entered a round chamber where Queen Varelia stood near a window, looking out at the floating mountains. "Daniel Reeve," she said, turning to him. "You did something we could not." My daughter spoke. She moved. Her heart beat stronger. "You woke something ancient." "I don't understand," Daniel said. "How can she know me? Why does my touch help her?" The Queen stepped closer. Her face was serious. "You must know the truth now," she said. "Long ago, before Earth's written history, a group of humans was taken from your world. Not as slaves, but as friends. Zelthora and Earth once shared knowledge." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Oh, but history says nothing about that, because it was erased. Our alliance ended during the Great Silence, a time when our world almost died. Those humans who came to Zelthora became something more. They lived long lives, learned our ways, and passed their knowledge into our people. Some even, shared blood." Daniel felt cold. "You mean?" "Yes," Varelia said. "My daughter Nyera is not fully Zeltharan. Her father was a descendant. Of the humans who stayed," Daniel stepped back. "So she's half human?" "Yes," the Queen nodded. "But her human side sleeps. It never fully awakened. We tried many ways to help her. Nothing worked, till you touched her." Daniel rubbed his forehead. "This is too much. Daniel, your DNA matches ancient human markers we thought were gone. Your presence might be the key to awakening the power inside her." He looked at her, unsure. "I'm not special. I was just a soldier." "But your blood remembers," the Queen said, "and Nyera dreams of you. Somehow across distance and time, your fates are connected." Just then, a guard entered and bowed. "Your Majesty, the princess is awake." Aunt Yana's heart skipped a beat. The healing room was quiet. Machines floated in the air, scanning silently. Nyera lay in her crystal bed, her eyes half open, glowing faintly. Daniel stepped in slowly. Nyera turned her head. Her voice was soft, like wind. "You came. Daniel stopped. You know me? I've seen you. In dreams, she said, breathing slowly. Since I was a child? Daniel pulled a chair near her bed and sat down. Why me? I don't. No, she whispered. In my dreams, you always stand in fire. But you never run. You stay. You protect. Daniel looked at her closely. Her face was still pale, but she looked stronger than before. He reached out and gently took her hand. A soft glow moved between them. Naira smiled. It's warm, she said. You are warm. Suddenly a loud beep echoed through the room. The machine above them flashed bright green. Queen Virelia entered with 2 scientists. One of them looked shocked. The readings are clear, he said. The connection between them is deepening. Her energy is stabilizing. Niera closed her eyes. When I touch him, I feel whole. Daniel stood up. What now? Virelia looked at the scientists, then back at him. Now we go to the ancient vault. It is time to learn what truly connects you both. They flew in a small transport to the mountains of Zelthora. Daniel sat beside Niera, who now wore a light blue cloak and could sit up on her own. Her eyes sparkled with energy. The transport landed near a cave, surrounded by trees with glowing leaves. Strange birds flew overhead. Queen Virelia led them into the darkness. The walls were filled with carvings, humans and Zelthrans standing. Side by side, holding stars, fighting monsters, building ships. This place is older than our kingdom, Virelia said. It was built by the first Unity Council. Here lies the truth. At the end of the cave was a massive door. Symbols floated on its surface. A golden handprint glowed in the center. We could never open it, the queen said. Only a pure-blooded ancient human could. Daniel looked at Niera. She nodded. He stepped forward and placed his hand on the glowing print. The door rumbled. Light spilled from the cracks. And then it opened. Inside was a small room, filled with strange machines and floating crystals. In the center stood a glowing platform with 2 hand-shaped marks, one blue. One red dot. Daniel and Niera stepped forward. Place your hands, the queen said softly. They did. At first nothing happened. Then a giant hologram appeared. A human man in silver armor. My name is Commander Ilian Reeve, he said. If you are seeing this, then the bond has returned. Mecho gasped. Reeve, my last name, ... The hologram continued. We were Earth's first explorers. We came to Zelthora in peace. We built this vault to protect our bond. It's the energy of unity flows through our blood. When a human and a Zelthoran are truly connected, they can awaken the ancient power of healing and balance. Niera's eyes widened. He looks like you. Daniel nodded slowly. Maybe he was my ancestor. The hologram ended. Queen Virelia stepped forward. Now we understand. Your blood carries the code of Ilian Reeve. That is why Niera responds to you. She is a child of 2 worlds. You are the bridge. Suddenly the cave shook. A loud explosion came from outside. One of the guards ran in. Your Majesty, the palace is under attack. What? Virelia shouted. Who dares? The guard's face was pale. It's General Craven. He has declared a coup. He says humans must never return to Zelthora. Daniel grabbed his weapon. We have to go now. Virelia looked at her daughter. Can you walk? Niera stood, weak but firm. With him, I can. They ran out of the cave as fire lit the skies. They flew low under the clouds, avoiding enemy patrols. Craven's rebels had taken control of the palace. Zelthora was in chaos. Daniel, Niera, and the queen hid inside an old observatory in the forest. There they planned. He fears what we've awakened, Virelia said. He wants the past to stay buried. Daniel looked at Niera. But the past is the only way forward. Niera reached out and touched his chest. I feel stronger each time I'm near you. The connection is growing. Daniel smiled. We're not giving up. Outside, rebel ships flew overhead. But inside the observatory, something ancient was returning, and this was only the beginning. The observatory was quiet, hidden deep inside the forest of Zelthara. Its roof was open, showing stars above. Old machines and broken telescopes lay covered in dust. But for now, it was a safe place. Daniel sat near a small fire. Niera rested. Beside him, her head leaning on his shoulder. Her breathing was calm, and her skin was no longer pale. Her body was still weak, but something inside her was waking up. Queen Virelia stood near the window, watching the distant smoke rise from the palace. Her face was full of worry. "General Craven controls the skies now," she said. "Our loyal forces are few. He has the army, the ships, and the weapons. We have something he doesn't," Daniel said. The queen turned. "What?" "The truth," Daniel said firmly. "And the connection between me and Niera. If we can show it to your people, maybe they'll stand with us." Virelia nodded slowly. "Then we must reach the heart of unity." Niera looked up. "The heart? It's real?" Daniel asked. The queen walked over. "Yes, a device left by your ancestors, hidden below the capital. It's said to hold the original energy of human Zilthiran unity, but only those who are truly bonded can unlock it." Daniel looked at Niera. "You and me." She nodded, a soft smile on her lips. "But it won't be easy," Virelia said. "The rebels guard the old city gates. We must take a secret path, through the ruins of the First Alliance." That night, they left the observatory in silence. The queen, Niera, Daniel, and 4 loyal guards walked through the dark forest. The path was narrow, full of glowing roots and strange floating insects. Every step felt dangerous. They reached the ruins by morning. The ancient city was made of stone and crystal. Half of it had fallen into the earth long ago. The other half was cracked, overgrown with plants. Broken statues of humans and Zeltharans stood beside each other, holding hands forgotten by time. "This place, ... Daniel whispered, "feels like it remembers us." Niera touched one of the statues. Her fingers glowed softly. "They built this together," she said. "Humans and Zeltharans, side by side." Daniel helped her climb down a broken staircase, into a hidden chamber. The queen followed closely. Inside, the walls glowed as they walked. Symbols appeared, stars, DNA strands, glowing hands. They reached a round door. It looked like the one in the mountain cave, but bigger. In the center was a circle with 2 handprints, one red, one blue. "This is it," Virelia whispered. "The heart of unity." Daniel and Niera stepped forward. They looked at each other, then placed their hands on the marks. At first, nothing happened. Then the chamber shook. Light filled the room. A loud hum began. The door opened slowly, revealing a floating sphere of pure energy inside. The heart of unity. It pulsed with light red and blue together. Nia gasped. "It's alive," Daniel felt a deep pull inside him. His chest burned, not in pain, but with energy. The sphere floated down toward them. It split into 2 streams, one touching Daniel, one touching Niera. Their bodies lifted from the ground, glowing brightly. Memories rushed into their minds, not their own, but ancient ones. Visions flooded them. Humans arriving on ships made of light, Zeltharans welcoming them with open arms. Children born of both worlds playing under silver trees. A great war, a betrayal, a massive silence. The heart being hidden, waiting for the bond to return. Daniel and Niera fell gently to the floor. The energy faded, but it had changed them. Daniel's eyes now glowed faintly golden. Niera stood tall, strong, her hair flowing like a river of stars. The queen stared at them, amazed. "You've awakened it." Niera stepped forward. "We have to stop Craven." Now, back at the palace, Craven stood on the throne steps. His armor was black, his voice cold. "The queen is gone," he told his soldiers. "Her rule is over. The human is a threat. He must be destroyed. The old ways must never return." His followers cheered suddenly. A guard ran in, panicked. "Sir, the heart has been activated. The girl is awake. And ... the human is with her." Craven's eyes narrowed. Prepare the warships. We end this tonight. Daniel, Niera, and Virelia returned to the forest edge. Loyal rebels met them, their soldiers, who had once served Niera's father. They saw the glow in her eyes. They saw Daniel beside her. One soldier stepped forward. Is it true? You carry the heart's power? Niera nodded. Yes. And I ask for your help not to fight for me, but to save our world. Daniel raised his voice. This is not just about aliens or humans. This is about unity, about saving the past and the future. One by one, the rebels bowed. We are with you, they said. That night, the battle began. Craven's ships filled the sky. But the Queen's forces fought back, using ancient weapons powered by the heart. Niera stood in the front lines, energy shining from her hands. Daniel fought beside her, his body stronger than ever. Together, they moved like light. At one moment, Craven himself landed on the battlefield. He pointed his sword at Niera. You are weak. You think love will save you? Daniel stepped in front of her. Not love, unity. The ground cracked. The heart's energy burst from the ground, forming a wall between them. Craven screamed in anger. You are not one of us. Niera stepped forward. I am both of us. She raised her hands. A beam of energy hit Craven's blade, shattering it. The force knocked him back. He lay still. The battle ended. The next morning, the sun rose over a peaceful Zelthora. People came out of hiding. Ships landed with aid. Families reunited. Daniel stood on the palace balcony, looking down at the people, cheering. Niera stood beside him, holding his hand. Queen Virelia smiled. You gave us a future. You reminded us who we are. Daniel looked at Niera. She reminded me who I am too. Niera leaned her head on his shoulder. We're stronger. Together. And above them in the sky, the stars shined brighter than ever. The city of Valora, capital of Zelthora, was healing. Smoke no longer rose from the towers. Fires had been put out, and the streets were clear. People walked again without fear. But even though the war was over, danger had not fully passed. Daniel stood on the steps of the palace, watching the workers rebuild the front gate. He had seen many battles in his life, but this one had changed something inside him. He wasn't just a human anymore. He was now part of something bigger, Zelthera, Niera, a future built on unity. Still watching like a soldier, a soft voice said behind him. He turned. It was Niera, wearing a simple white robe. She looked stronger than ever. Her skin glowed faintly. Her eyes were calm, but sharp. Old habits die hard, Daniel said with a smile. She walked closer and stood beside him. The people are talking. Some fear what we became during the battle. I know, Daniel replied, but many also believe. She looked into his eyes. They should. The heart of unity changed us. Feel it inside me, still alive. Daniel nodded. Same here, like it's watching. A moment of silence passed. General Craven is still alive, Niera whispered. Daniel's eyes narrowed. I thought he fell. He was taken by his loyalists, she said. They escaped through the sky tunnels beneath the city. Clenched his fists. Then this isn't over. In a dark chamber deep under the ruins, Craven lay on a metal bed. Wires ran through his arms. Around him stood 5 cloaked figures, the Silent Circle, Zelthoran extremists who had once ruled through fear and shadow. He touched the heart, one of them said. It gave him something unnatural. He is still useful, another replied. We can shape him. Turn him into a weapon. Craven's eyes opened, but they were no longer just red. They were glowing black. The energy from the heart had corrupted his body, but kept him alive. I will destroy them, he growled. The queen. The girl. The human. Back in the palace, Queen Virelia met with Daniel and Niera in the council hall, the tall windows. Let in golden sunlight, but the mood inside was heavy. Our scouts have found signs of Craven's rebels, she said. They are hiding in the ancient ruins of Vitarka. Daniel leaned over the table map. What's there? A lost temple, Virelia explained. Older than the heart, it holds technology even we don't understand. If Craven reaches it first, he may gain more power. Niera spoke calmly. Then we reach it before him. The queen hesitated. It will be dangerous. Daniel smiled slightly. Good, I'm getting bored of peace already. That night, Daniel, Niera, and a small team of loyal fighters flew in a stealth ship toward Vitarka. Below them, the land changed. Dark forests, sharp cliffs, and red lightning storms. The temple was far from cities, hidden in wild lands, untouched by light. Inside the ship, Daniel checked his gear. His armor had been rebuilt using both human and Zeltharan tech. It was lighter, faster, and powered by the energy of the heart. Niera sat across from him. She was calm, eyes closed, feeling the air around her. "Are you meditating?" Daniel asked. "I'm listening," she said softly. "To what?" "To the heart," she answered. "It speaks when you're quiet," Daniel chuckled. "Wow. Take your word for it." They reached the temple before dawn. Vitarka stood like a sleeping beast, massive black stones, sharp towers, and gates that hissed like breath. Strange symbols glowed in the fog. "It feels wrong here," one soldier whispered. "It's not wrong," Niera said. "Just forgotten." They entered the main gate and walked through a long tunnel. The walls were smooth and cold. Some pulsed. With energy, machines moved in the shadows, old and strange. Suddenly, lights flashed. Alarms screamed. "It's a trap," someone shouted. Craven's voice echoed through the walls. "Welcome, Queen's daughter. And human, you bring light, I bring shadow." He stepped out from the darkness. His body was covered in black armor. His eyes glowed like fire. Heart's energy had changed him, but in a twisted way. "You could have ruled with me," Craven hissed. "But you chose weakness." "I chose truth," Niera said firmly. Daniel stepped forward. "And I chose her," Craven roared. The battle began. The fight was brutal. The temple shook with energy. Craven's forces used old weapons light-bending. Spears, fire drones, and beasts made of crystal and bone. Daniel fought with speed and strength he never had before. His armor glowed with golden light. His punches shook the ground. His blades sang. Niera moved like wind, energy flowing from her hands, forming shields and blasts that sent enemies flying. But Craven was stronger than before. The dark energy around him made him nearly untouchable. "I am the true future," he shouted, slamming Daniel against a wall. Daniel groaned, blood on his lips. "You are just a human," Craven growled. Daniel wiped his mouth. "No, I'm the bridge." He grabbed Niera's hand. Together, their energy surged. A golden wave blasted out, throwing Craven back. The temple cracked. The roof fell. Light and shadow clashed in the air. Craven stood again, weaker now, but still. "Burning, I will not lose to love," he spat. Niera looked at him with sad eyes. "Then you've already lost." She raised her hand. The heart's energy rose again. A massive beam of blue and gold shot forward. Craven screamed as the energy hit him. His armor shattered. He disappeared and light silence followed. The temple walls stopped glowing. The machines turned off. It was over. Hours later, the survivors flew back to Velora. Daniel sat in the ship, staring at the stars. He didn't speak for a long time. Niera finally said, "Are you okay?" He nodded. "Just tired." She smiled and leaned against him. "We did it," she said. "For now," Daniel replied. "What do you mean?" "There's always something else. Another enemy. Another fight." "Maybe," she said, "but we'll face it. Together." He looked at her and smiled. "Yeah, together." When they landed, the city welcomed them like heroes. Crowds gathered. Children held glowing flowers. Music filled the air. The queen met them at the palace gates, tears in her eyes. "You saved us again," she said. Daniel looked around. They saved themselves. Virilia placed her hand on his shoulder. "You are one of us now." That night, a celebration lit up the sky. Daniel and Niera stood on the palace balcony. Below, people danced. Lights floated in the air. "I never thought I'd end up here," Daniel said. "Neither did I," Niera replied. He turned to her. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I hadn't come?" She smiled. "I would have found you." Laughed. "Is that so?" I dreamed of you since I was a child, she whispered. The universe brought us together for a reason. Daniel took her hand. Then let's not waste it, she nodded. And above them, stars watched silently, remembering the ancient bond that had returned stronger than ever. Weeks passed after the final battle at the Temple of Vitarka. Peace slowly returned to Zelthra. For the first time in years, the skies were calm. The people smiled again. Shops opened. Children played in the streets. The darkness that had once ruled was now gone, but deep within the palace, something new was growing. Hope. Daniel stood in a quiet garden inside the royal grounds. Its tall trees with silver leaves swayed in the soft wind. Strange glowing birds flew above. A peaceful stream ran through the garden. He looked at the water, thinking. He was no longer just Captain Daniel Reeve, a soldier from Earth. He was now a symbol, a bridge between two worlds. Some called him the Flame of Unity. Others whispered that he was the return of the ancient guardians. But Daniel didn't care for titles. He only cared about one thing now. Niera. Footsteps came behind him. He didn't turn. I knew it was you, said Niera, her voice soft like the wind. Daniel smiled. You always find me. She stepped beside him. Her long hair shone in the sunlight. Her eyes glowed with gentle energy. I had to check, she said. Tomorrow is a big day. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Remind me what's happening tomorrow? Niera laughed lightly. The Unity ceremony. The entire planet will be watching. Oh, that. She looked at him. You're nervous? More. Like confused? Daniel said. I never planned any of this. I didn't come to become part of a legend. No, she said. You came to help, and that's what makes you different. They stood in silence for a while. Do you think this peace will last? Daniel asked. Neuer turned serious. Not forever. Nothing does. That's why we fight to protect it. He nodded slowly. She placed her hand on his. You're not alone in this, Daniel. I'm with you. He squeezed her hand gently. No. That night, Queen Virelia called a private meeting in the royal chamber. Daniel, Niera, and the queen's top advisors sat around a circular table made of crystal. Virelia stood. Her expression was calm but powerful. The heart of Unity has changed everything, she began. Many leaders across our world now want to build a council with both humans and Zeltharans working as one. Good news, Daniel said. Yes, the queen replied. But it also brings risk. Some still fear humans. Some think Niera's powers make her too strong. I'm not a weapon, Niera said calmly. I know, the queen nodded. But we must be careful. Peace is not just about stopping war. It's about guiding people. Slowly, with wisdom. Daniel leaned forward. So what do we do? The queen looked at them both. Show them unity. Not with words, but with action. Tomorrow, you two will stand before the world not as warriors, but as hope. Niera glanced at Daniel, then nodded. We're ready. The next day arrived. The sky was clear. Twin moons hovered above the city. Thousands of people gathered in the central square of Aelora. Others watched from every corner of the planet. Massive floating screens showed the event live. Daniel stood behind the curtain, wearing ceremonial armor, half human, half Zeltharan design. A golden symbol glowed on his chest. Niera stood beside him in a beautiful robe that shimmered like starlight. Her presence was calm, almost holy. A trumpet sounded. The doors opened. They stepped out together. Cheers erupted across the city. People from all races, ages, and nations clapped, waved, and shouted their names. Daniel and Niera walked slowly too. The center stage, where the heart of Unity floated above a stone pedestal, glowing gently. Queen Virelia stepped forward and raised her hand. The crowd quieted. People of Zelthera, she said. Today, we witness not only the end of war, but the beginning of something greater. Long ago, our ancestors stood with humans as friends. That bond was lost. But now, through the courage of my daughter and a man from Earth, it has returned. The crowd cheered again. Virelia turned to Daniel and Niera. Step forward. show them the flame of unity. They walked to the pedestal and placed their hands on the heart. The heart pulsed. A wave of golden and blue energy flowed across the sky, lighting up the moons and stars. People gasped. Some cried. The heart was responding to their connection, their truth, their bond. Daniel turned to the crowd. "I'm just a man," he said. "I didn't come here to be a hero, but I found something here, something I never expected. I found a place where humans and aliens can walk side by side. I found a reason to believe in something bigger than war. And I found him, the one who helped me live, helped me feel whole. I am not just a princess. I am a bridge, just like him." The crowd was silent, listening, and now Nyera said, "We ask you all, help us build a world that honors both past and future. Let us walk forward, not as enemies, but as one." The cheers returned, louder than before. People from different species hugged. Flags of unity flew. The world had changed. That night, Daniel and Nyera stood again on the balcony, watching fireworks in the sky. "You were amazing out there," Daniel said. "So were you," she replied. He looked at her. "What now?" She leaned on the railing. "We begin." He raised an eyebrow. "Begin what?" She turned and smiled. "A life. Together. You're not leaving, right?" He laughed. "Where would I go? Earth doesn't have floating cities or magical birds." She smiled warmly. "Then stay. Help me build this new world." Daniel nodded. "I will, I promise." In the weeks that followed, changes swept across Elthera. A unity council was formed, half human, half Seltheran. New schools were built, teaching both histories side by side. Old ruins were opened, studied, and honored. Peace agreements were signed with neighboring worlds, and slowly, humans from Earth began to arrive, not as conquerors, but as guests. Daniel became the first. Human envoy, Nyera, became the Heart's Keeper. Together, they were known as the Twin Lights. Children wore necklaces shaped like the heart of unity, and the story of the man who came to save a princess became a legend told across galaxies. Years later, in a quiet room inside the palace, Daniel sat reading an old journal. A small voice called, "Father." He looked up. A young girl ran into the room. Her skin was light blue. Her eyes glowed faintly gold. She laughed as she jumped into his arms. Nyera followed, smiling. "Our daughter thinks you're still a hero," she said. Daniel hugged the child close. "Well, I did save a queen's daughter once," the girl giggled. "Tell me the story again." Daniel winked. "The short version, no. The long one." He laughed. "All right, but this time your mother tells the ending?" Nyera sat beside him. "The ending is simple," she said. "He came. He helped. He stayed." Daniel smiled at them both. "And he found a family," he added softly. Outside, the stars of Zelthora shined brightly. The heart of unity pulsed in its chamber. Peace remained for now. But even if darkness returned one day, the world would not be afraid, because the flame of unity still lived, and a human was its keeper.